Guys, you will forever look outside of yourself for something to fix you and you will never find it. The only thing that's going to fix you is yourself. So the problem is not what you seek, but where you seek it and the way you go about it. Because the moment you realize that the fix is not outside of you, but inside of you, and you realize that what you're doing, thinking-wise, what you're doing, you don't have the blueprint to functionally elevate through life, right? So you understand now, because I said it, that the problem is not outside of you, it's inside of you. And now you know it's inside of you. That doesn't mean the problem's instantly solved. It means that you need to do some shit to fix some shit inside of you, but you can't do what you don't know how to do. And so it's very fucking simple. You get the blueprint, and that's where it starts. Most of you guys will forever pretend like you know what you're doing, and you will forever flounder through life, and you will end up in places, in spaces you don't want to be, internally and externally. When you are in a bad mood, you are in a negative mental space that you have created for yourself. When you are in environments you don't want to be in, but you must be in because you are incompetent, you do not have the competence to create, maintain, and choose the environments of which you will, simply lacking the freedom to choose of which you want, because you are incompetent, you have not created, you have not built yourself to the level where you have that level of freedom. And so the blueprint is very fucking simple. You get the blueprint, and now you actually have the roadmap towards the internal navigation to the places and spaces you want to be, intrinsically and extrinsically. But it begins within first. And it begins by recognizing that you have a serious fucking problem. It begins by recognizing that you have been stumbling and stifling through life this entire time, and you don't know what you believe you know. And this is why you are always in negative mental states. Negativity, the negative mental state, is a reflection of your inadequacy. Every time you get mad when life doesn't work your way, the little moods, the mood swings, you have to understand that if you are not in the most vibrant of emotion, if you are not your best emotion in motion, well, it's because you're less than. And so the best version of you will always be in the most authentic, auspicious emotion, which is the best emotion. Most of you guys will hear best emotion, and then you'll go get drunk with friends, and you'll think that the dopamine that you received was the best emotion, but that was a mirage of your self-deception. And so it sounds condescending when I have to explain it to you, but you have to understand that you don't know what your best emotion is, because you are limited to where you are internally and externally. And so you find your best emotion by working on the blueprint, by taking the daily steps that are needed to be took when undertaking and carrying the blueprint. Now, you guys will forever sit here and fuck up through life. You guys will pretend you know what you're doing, and you think you're so close to your goal, but in all actuality, you have to understand that your goal is so fucking far away from you. You might as well detach from the thought of the goal, and you might as well recognize that you are so inadequate as an individual that it begins with the man in the mirror. And so most of you guys will forever pretend like, I am this and I am that, and you'll confirm and affirm to yourself, and you'll look in the mirror and you'll say all these affirmations with the most confidence, but at the deepest fundamental of existence, you're nowhere near, and you'll never be, if you don't actually understand the fact you are inadequate. You have to understand that the problem is not outside of you, it's inside of you. And then you need to get the roadmap to acquiring, facilitating, and evolving through the blueprint, which is it's a roadmap for exactly where you need to go. And so most people, you can either pretend like you know it yourself and you can be stubborn like most people, or you can look left and look right and realize you are not where you want to be. Then you can come to someone who is where you want to be, whether that's mentally, whether that's extrinsically, whether that's with the brand, the success of the brand, whether that's with the success of the mind and the intelligence. whatever it is you seek to acquire, you have to understand that you need to directly be worked. You need to work with the direct facilitator of the quality of which you seek to replicate and emanate. Now, when I say replicate, that doesn't mean mimic, because a lot of you like to fucking mimic. Understand that the reason you are attracted to the quality I possess is because all humans have the same value, internal moral compass. That means that every human intrinsically wants to be the best version of them. They want to be the most talented, the most auspicious, the best version of them. And that is your moral compass. And so most people will forever conform to society, and they will fail at recognizing the fact that society wasn't the moral compass. It was the intrinsic, auspicious will to empower and evolve. And so most people will forever dwindle and fade through time, and they will remain in a state of cadences. But you have to understand that the reason you're stuck in a mental maze of cadences is because your compass isn't real. Your compass is what your mom told you was right, what you saw on social media, and what everyone around you's feeding your mind, what your environment reflected back into you. The realest of the real know that the moral compass of humanity, of being an individual, is within you, and it's the voice you hear when it whispers to get the fuck up, look in the fucking mirror, and do some shit to fix some shit before you die a bitch. It's that fucking simple. It can't get realer than that. We can explain this in 10 fucking different ways. We can tell you a million fucking times. But if you're not actually hearing the essence within the cymatic linguistics, well, you're not going to get anything, and you're not going to resonate with what the fuck I'm saying. And that is a reflection of inadequacy. That is a reflection of the lack of intelligence. Intelligence is simply to turn a thought into actuality. Intelligence is the navigation and the time collapsing of achieving goals from mind to material. And so the lack of intelligence means that you are lacking the internal qualities needed to comprehend something, to get something in your mind for you to move different, facilitate yourself at higher levels in the material. And so when I say lack of intelligence, I want you to directly think of you lack the fundamental wiring, the mental circuitry, the metaphysical circuitry to actually comprehend something and then apply this to reality. And so the best thing to do is to get in contact with me, get on the fucking program, get on the calls, and actually figure out what the fuck we need to detangle in your life and begin working on it together, and the growth will be inevitable. It's that fucking simple. Peace!